Hello and welcome to my installation tutorial for installing Instant-NGP. And this tutorial is going to teach you how to install this onto your local Windows machine. And yeah, let's get started. This is my fork, and if you want to refer to the original version, which would be constantly updated, you can click right here. Fork from vlabs/instant-ngp. This repo will only be up for teaching you guys how to install ngp, and it will not be updated further. And yeah, let's get started. Starting from the requirements, you need an NVIDIA GPU. So if you don't have it, sorry, you can't use it. And second, we need Python version 3.9. We will get to this later. And then third, we need Visual Studio Community 2019. I suggest you reinstall, because later on there are probably some problems where you need to reinstall Visual Studio 2019, which is really annoying. So you can choose whatever you want. Well, you don't necessarily have to reinstall it, but if you encounter the problem, you basically have to reinstall it. So I'm just gonna show you guys how to install this real quick. All right, so you want to click this option, desktop development with C++, and make sure these are all installed, and it's roughly 8 GB, and you just press install, and we shall wait. All right, after that has finished installing, sometimes you may need to restart your computer. Then go ahead and restart your computer. But if you don't need to restart your computer, we can continue. You can close this window, close these. And yeah, the next one is we need to have Cuda version 11.6. So if you don't have Cuda 11.6, you can download it here. And this is for Windows 10, by the way. So if you're Windows 11, you definitely need to switch version. And yeah, after that, you installed everything on default, and you'll be fine. But if you already had 11.6 and you're not sure if you're on 11.6 version, already have mostly means you installed it before. You then can go to your CMD, and then you can check it by typing mvcc-version, and it should tell you that it's 11.6. So if it's not, then you can refer to here, this tutorial on how to swap Cuda toolkit versions, and you just swap it to 11.6. And that tutorial is swapping from 11.6 to 11.3. So not to confuse you, but it should be the reverse. So yeah, we will want 11.6, and you can check it with MVCC version, and if it tells you 11.6, you're set. And the next one is we need PyEXR, and we'll see later too. Next one is we need Anaconda Prompt. So you can get Anaconda here with this link, and you just download the individual edition and everything on default installation. And yeah, it's pretty straightforward. You'll probably be fine. And lastly, you need optics. So you can click on this link here again, and then you'll be redirected to this page. So you press get started, and sometimes you might need to either join now or sign in, and you just join or sign in, and then you just download the version according to your system, which should be Windows 10. And yeah, everything on default installation too. It's pretty straightforward. Don't make any custom edits whatsoever, and you should be fine. And now, after you install that, you want to make sure you have a system variable. So you're going to go to your search bar and press type in environment. You go to environment variables, you go to system variables, and you're gonna find here optics install direct. And then if you don't have this one under your system variables, you need to press new to create one. So the variable name needs to be exactly what's shown here, optics install dir, and the variable value has to be a file location to your optics folder. So how you can check if this one is valid, because It can be different versions like 7.3 or 7.5. You just copy this, you paste it onto your file explorer, and then it should show that these files are here. And if you can't go, then you probably have the wrong version or wrong file path, which is probably unlikely to be the wrong file path because you had everything on default installation settings. So yeah, we can close these for now. And then now we can get to the compilation part. So first of all, we want to copy these files from here. So you just copy this file directory, you paste it here. So you'll see these ones, and then you want to open another file explorer, and then you copy this path. Since you have everything on default installation, you should be able to get to the folder via these paths. So you want to copy these 4 files and then paste it into this file. I mean this folder, my bad. So it's gonna continue. And yeah, and then that is done. And then now you want to close these, and then you can open up your Anaconda prompt. It will be Anaconda Prompt 3. And then you cd into the directory that you want to download your codes. So you can copy this. This is mine. you should have yours, but type in cd and paste the file directory, and then press I entered extra. So cd space file directory, and then if you're on a different disk, you need to swap your disk. So you type in F, and then it should be like this. And then now we want to git clone. So if you don't have git clone, you can download Git here. It'll be much easier to use Git in this scenario, and you can download this 64-bit Git for Windows setup. And then after you download that, you need to make sure it's in the file path. I mean the environment variables. So you have to go back to environment variables again. And then you want to make sure it's here. So you scroll down system variables, you find path, and then you can see that Git is here. It's somewhere here. And if you don't have Git, you just get the file path of where your Git is at. So it should be like here, program files, Git, cmd. Get this one, copy it to this place. You add to your environment, new here, and then press enter. So you should have 1. I want to delete 1 because I was showing you how to do it. So basically the command prompt will recognize the git command. All right, so you just copy this line and then you paste it here now. All right, I already have mine. Let me delete. All right, press enter, and then this folder should show up inside your NGP folder that you just created somewhere. And then it's gonna take a while for you to clone everything since there are quite a lot of files. Okay, now you're gonna see all these. That means you're done cloning. And then you want to cd into an Instant-NGP directory, press enter, and it should look like this. The next thing is we want to open up another prompt called developer command prompt. So you just do it in your search bar. You can see developer command prompt for VS 2019. Here, you want this one. Let me see if I can enlarge it. Oh, there you go. Yes. And when you want to copy the file path of where you are in your Anaconda prompt, so you can just basically do this. This will be the easiest. You go back here, type in cd, and then you paste it, and press enter, and then you have to switch disk if you're on another disk. Then you want to run cmake .-b build. Copy and paste that. And all right, so it should say that build files have been written, and oh my god, working on the first try, this is so satisfying. And then next one is run the second command. Oh, it's not done yet, so hopefully this will work too. This one might take slightly longer. Okay, two of the hardest commands has worked. This is amazing. All right, so we're now get to the next part where we have to make it work on custom image set. So now we need to download ColeMap. You can right click on this ColeMap, and then here you press this ColeMap Windows Cuda zip, and you download this one. And then I would suggest put this thing inside your Instant-NGP folder, so you can type in any prompt, explorer.exe, and then dot. It will open this file with Instant-NGP as the root, and you can just unzip this, drag and drop, unzip, and just put everything inside the root folder, so it'll be easier to manage later on. So after this is installed here, I suggest you to rename it into ColeMap, and then you go in and you copy this file directory, and you go to your environment variables again, and then scroll down, go to path, and you want to add ColeMap here into a new one, so it'll refer to this ColeMap.exe when you run commands with ColeMap. So you press OK, and you can close this window now. You can close this, and yeah, the same thing here exactly. And you can open up your Anaconda prompt, and then you copy this line, conda create -ngp python equals 3.9. I'm gonna replace mine, so I'm gonna start fresh. Enter, and then conda activate ngp. Now you copy this pip install -r requirements.txt, and we're just gonna wait. All right, so here PyEXR failed, but everything else installed correctly. So what we need to do is, when you encounter this, you just manually download the wheel. Press this link here, sorry, and then download the appropriate version, which should be this 1.3.2 CP39 and AMD 64. You download this wheel, the same one I mentioned here, and then you drag and drop into the root folder. And let me just remove the 2, because it's not supposed to have the 2. And you just copy this line and you paste it in your Anaconda prompt, and then success, yes. Next, we are gonna find yourself an image data set. So let me take mine. I'm gonna use the toy truck as example data. All right, so I'm gonna go into my data, okay, image set name. So I'm gonna create one called toy truck, and then we go into this folder and drag and drop, or just copy paste your set of images in here. I'm gonna use their demo one, so it'll be easier and faster. Well, so you can see, yeah, these are all the images. Toy truck. So we can get transform JSON from the following command, and then you replace the last part with your image path. So it'll be it'll be here. You remove this and change it to data/toy truck, and press enter, and you press type Y, and you press enter, and then it'll be running the, what's that called, camera position estimator for each individual files. The higher the quality each individual photos are, the longer it'll take, and the same goes to the amount of images there are. So if you put in, right now we already have 100 images in the data set, different angles of the toy truck. It's not really a toy truck, but I don't know why I name it a toy truck. But yes, the higher quality, the higher dimension it is, the longer it's gonna take. So if you have like 500 and 2K images, probably gonna take like 30 minutes. And yeah, mine is a 3090 GPU, and it cannot run 4K images dataset, because when you load it into the AI, it will just crash. So even though you can do the camera pose, wait, what's it called? Camera points estimation, you cannot load it into the AI because you'll run out of VRAM basically. So yeah, I suggest maximum 2K. I mean, you can just play around with it yourself because, well, we're nearly done. After this is done, you'll get a JSON file in your root folder. So you see your transforms. Drag and drop into data. Drag and drop into toy truck. Well, actually, before that, because of how transforms.json is produced, we will need to create an extra layer of folder structure. I don't know how to fix this. It's probably really easy, but there was just too much code for me, and I spent too much time on this. So I'm sorry, guys, but this is not too hard, I would say. So you create a folder called data. There you go. And then you drag toy truck into it. And then you create a folder called toy truck. And you drag data into it. So you get toy truck, data, toy truck, and these images here. And then I already confused so much myself. Okay, and then you drag and drop transforms into toy truck. So it should be data. When you open the data folder and then open the toy truck folder, you should see data and transforms. And then when you open the data folder, inside the data folder, you'll see toy truck here. And then when you open toy truck, you'll see these images. Yeah. So that should be the structure. If you have a pretty low VRAM GPU, like 4 VRAM or 8 VRAM, you can always edit the transform files. So you can either open with a text file, a notepad, and then you edit here, AABB scale. You can edit, the higher it is, the easier for your PC, and the lower it is, the harder it's on your CPU. So if you put 1, you'll usually not be able to run it, and if you put it 8, people with medium GPU can run it, and then 16, and people with lower VRAM GPU can run it. But quality wise, I couldn't really tell any difference. So, well, you play around. If you crash, and you play around with this value basically. Yeah, it's the AABB scale. So after that is done, the organizing, the data structure is done. You can then run the command here. The scenery is basically your image set name. So it should be the exact same as the above one that you entered previously for generating your JSON file. So you don't really need to, you can just ignore the data structure that you just did because of how the files are read. It's pretty weird. So you just basically do a full file path to your testbed.exe. So how do you find your testbed.exe? So you go to the root folder, which is inside Instant-NGP, and you go to build, and you'll find testbed.exe here. If you don't have this one, it means one of the 2 hardest steps you might have screwed up, and you need to either debug it and then make them generate this file successfully, or else you cannot run it. So yeah, so I want to copy this file directory, and then you need to add testbed.exe behind the directory. This is basically giving the absolute path. So when you want to run an exe inside a prompt, you need to give an absolute path. So you specify the folder, the whole file directory and that file. So it's right here. And then for the scene, it should be your, so you just need to change the scene later on when you want to run on different stuff. So yeah, press enter. It should load up, and bravo, it's working. Okay, let's go. It worked on the first try. I don't know how many times I redid this tutorial. Oh my, but I'm glad it worked now. Okay, yeah, so there are a lot of stuff you can play with. A lot of stuff. But when you want to view it, I suggest you stop training. So you'll get the maximum smoothness. You can have smooth camera motion. Oh, okay, look at this. And then you can have first person control, which is you can go WASD, you can look up or down. This works really well when you have a scenery that you want to explore, which would be really cool. So like a scene where, like the demo, it has a room, can basically walk like virtually go around the room. It's really sick. It's really cool. So if you want to, well, like transform your bedroom or your office into like this nerf environment, you can basically take a video essentially and then record and then transfer all that video frames into PNG or JPGs. I suggest JPGs because PNG would take up too much file space, and you transfer it into JPG and you make it into a data set, and then you train it, and then you can basically use a video and create a 3D environment inside nerf. That is amazing. Like that is that is like mind-blowing. Like this one here, exactly. Like this guy probably just took a video of the office, extract the frames, make the frames into like a data set, and then you train all those images just like this, and then it'll create an environment for you, a 3D world for you, and then you can just basically walk around. I mean, not walk around, but like no clip around, look around. Like it'll be, it's just so cool. Okay, I'm dragging on too long. So that's it. And yeah, this my fork edits in here. And if you had problems running these two steps, you can always refer to here, which are this problem and resolution. And it's how many are 4? Yeah, I encountered 4 of them out of 5. So like if you follow this tutorial, you'll probably be fine. And yeah, so if you like what I'm doing and if you want to look at the results of mine, you can check out my main channel. I uploaded the main video there. And if you like what I'm doing, you can consider support me through Patreon, because these kind of tutorials spend so much time. It would be really nice if you guys can support me through Patreon too. But if you can't, that is totally fine. I'll still keep posting videos here. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.